Hi, welcome back. Today I'm just going to go through my quiet time routine and just talk about how I spend time with God. And if you take anything away from today, I just want you to know, just spend time with God. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's quiet time. Just make time for God. And if it's not like everything you want it to be that day, just do something. Just read one verse, just read 2 verses, just pray for 2 minutes. Just spend time with God. It doesn't have to look the same every day. So let's get into it. Hi, my name is Sasha. Welcome back today, and we are going to talk about my quiet time routine at the moment. So it is morning. I have my cup of coffee, and we are at my morning Bible study desk. This is just a desk in my bedroom, so separate from my office area. It's got a nice view of some trees out the window. It's cloudy/rainy today, and I've got my little candle going, which I like candles, and I've got my little plant there, so it's just a really nice space. I try to keep this desk fairly clean, except for my Bible and my prayer book and some of my highlighters. And I do have a little desk just down here that has my King James Bible, and then a few extra notebooks and a few extra pens and highlighters. So this is where I like to spend my morning routine, but it doesn't actually start here. Normally I try to, when I wake up and I go to make my morning coffee in the kitchen, I do all my morning routine in there at once. So I make my breakfast, make my coffee, prepare my lunch for work, and do the dishes, all that kind of. I try to do all my morning activities in one burst after I get up in the morning, and then I come and I sit down and I relax here. So while I'm doing that, if I'm being really disciplined, I will have worship music playing, and that just sort of gets me prepared for my quiet time. I often pray at the sink doing my dishes. I don't know what it is. I guess like when your mind quiets, like you can think about other things, but I often find myself talking to God while I'm scrubbing the dishes anytime, not just the morning. But yeah, so I sort of start my quiet time there, and then I will come in here and have eat my breakfast, have my coffee, and do some kind of Bible study and some kind of prayer. And if you've seen my other videos, you know this year I'm reading through the NIV. That's my goal for 2025, is to read all the way through the NIV. It's going okay. I do need to read 3 to 4 chapters a day, and I'm probably not quite hitting that. So on a church day, so it's really kind of funny, on a Sunday I don't normally get to my NIV Bible reading, which I don't love, but I need to get up earlier on Sundays to make space in my routine for that. And that's on me. It's not an excuse. It's just something I need to do, and I haven't implemented yet, and we are already a few weeks into January, so I need to do that. So I'm probably a few chapters behind where I'd like to be at the end of January. Dream World, I would be reading 4 chapters a day, and I would be well ahead of my goal, because life happens and every day is not going to be perfect. So it would be nice to get a little bit ahead. But again, I don't want to be reading just to rush through it. I want to be spending time with God. So it's okay if I don't get through 4 chapters in the morning, because I might want to pause and reflect and ask some questions of God and make some notes and look up some words in the Greek or the Hebrew Bible. So that's what I normally do first. I will have my quiet time in the kitchen. I will start with that worship music, maybe some praying, maybe just thinking about my day and just asking God about some things that are coming up. And then I will do some Bible reading. And then depending on how much time I have, I try to make time to do this, but I don't do it every day. This is my prayer journal, and it's just a notebook that I've made into a prayer journal. This one's not very pretty, the cover. Sometimes I get in prayer ruts, so I did a prayer wheel or a prayer circle at the start of my prayer book. So if I'm having a really hard time praying and worship music hasn't helped, then I'll just start and I will work my way through a prayer circle. But what I've been doing lately, and again this isn't every day, but we'll set this up together when I get to my prayer time. There's just someone mowing outside. Okay, we'll be back. I think we are back and done with the mowing or whatever was going on outside. Yeah, so I think I was just talking about my prayer notebook and how I'm currently doing it. So I go through like different phases. Like sometimes I just go through noting down everything I prayed for that day. Sometimes I write a list before I pray of what I want to pray. Yeah, sometimes I pray that little prayer wheel. I went through that for a long time. I was having a lot of trouble praying. I'm not really sure why, but the prayer wheel really helped me just working through that. So at the moment, I'm just dividing my prayer notebook into sections. So I'm doing prayers for people, then I do prayers for needs or worries, and then I've got a section on like repentance or forgiveness and questions. And on this side, I like to start my prayer time similar to the prayer wheel. I start it with gratitude towards God. So not gratitude like the world does it, but gratitude and being thankful to God for some things. And that really helps me be content in my season and the things that I have, and it reminds me of all the good things God has done for me. So that's what I'm loving doing at the moment, is starting my prayer time with gratitude. And then I've got this section called worries, and I just dump out everything that I feel worried about, and then that sometimes I feel a lot better. Just like when I come to this section, I sort of just pray like, Lord, here's all my worries. I'm laying them down at your feet. I'm casting all my burdens before you, and here they are. And then I might sometimes move them into that need/worry section in my prayer section, and pray about them a bit more. And I think I mentioned, but maybe in 2023, I was really consistent with this, and I was doing it every day, not this format, but I was doing a memory verse every day as well in 2023. And so I thought I'd bring that back. It was pretty intense. I think I was learning, it would have been at least a memory verse a week. Some I did some longer passages and they took a bit longer, but yeah, just trying to get the word into my mind. And I don't know, it was really good having that memory verse. So I brought that back into my prayer time, just trying to memorize and meditate on a passage or a verse from God's word, and hopefully memorize that. And then at the back, I tick off when I've memorized one, so you can see, well, you maybe can't see, but I've ticked off one for January so far, and then I'm working on my second memory verse. So I'm not being like strict with that. I'm not going to beat myself up if I only memorize 12 verses. That's not really, like, my goal's not really to memorize as many verses as possible. It's to build that habit and build that practice and meditate on God's word. So yeah. And then the other thing, so if you watch some of my videos, you know I'm on a financial journey this year. So I've been praying about my finances and really trying to be disciplined and working on them. And I've seen God do some amazing things. So maybe in 6 months or at the end of this year, if we're still going, I will go through all the things God has blessed me with. And I don't know if it's just because I'm aware of it now and I'm being more conscious of it, but when you start trying to look and pay attention, you can see more of what God is doing in your life. Anyway, that's what I'm experiencing. So maybe it's not the same for you, but yeah, God is just really good and it's really exciting. So I want to write them down and document it to remind me of God's faithfulness, and like, it's not my money, it's God's money. Everything I have comes from Him. Yeah, just some of those things I reflected on, I think, in my financial goals video for 2025, that I don't want to be covetous with my money and I don't want to be comparing. So I want to have a healthy relationship with money, and I want to like lay it at God's feet, which is really scary. But yeah, just giving it back to Him and giving Him the glory for all the things that He is doing. And I definitely couldn't have done this without Him. It's been, it's been really great, but it's been really challenging and really eye-opening. Yeah, so I will start with my Bible reading, and then we'll set up my prayer page for the day, and I will do that, and we'll just work through that together. So here's my Bible for 2025, and we set this up together in late December 2024, and I haven't filled this out yet. So this Bible has actually been to Canberra and Sydney this year. So I'll do an end of the month review of January, but I started in Esther, I've read Jonah, and at the moment I am in Isaiah, so I'm hoping to finish that before the end of January. And I've also started reading the Psalms as well. What, the Psalms? No, actually maybe Proverbs. So yeah, most of the time I've just been, I just started the start of one book and then I've been reading through. So I'm actually up to, wow, I might actually finish Isaiah today. So yeah, I'm going to get into it, and I will probably put this on fast forward and I will tell you how long it took at the end. Okay, so that was about 15 minutes of study, and I got through 4 chapters, and I think I'm going to leave it at there today. Just seems like a good place to pause, and then tomorrow I'll finish off Isaiah, and that'll be something really to look forward to. I love finishing off a book of the Bible, so that'll be really exciting tomorrow in my tomorrow Bible study. But yeah, just a few themes that I've been picking up through Isaiah, and so now as I've got towards the end of the book, I've started trying to highlight that. So especially in this passage here, I noticed the word joy and rejoice a lot, so I flagged that. And some of these verses I just picked out because I loved them when I read them, so that's why I highlighted them. I don't know, just like this part about they will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord, and just reminding myself that where I am, I've been planted by God. If I'm living in His will and trying to do my best to be obedient with Him, it's God who does the planting. And yeah, I don't know, this passage here I just really loved. So pass through the gates, prepare the way for the people, build up the highway, remove the stones, raise a banner for the nations. And it just seemed really exciting and encouraging, and just sort of, yeah, so I just wrote these notes here, like there was preparation, there was action, they removed obstacles, and they sort of showed the way, like they raised up a banner, like come this way. Yeah, so I've just made a few notes in here as I went through. These are just some of the themes that I've been noticing through Isaiah's redemption. And in this page, compassion's another one of those themes. And then in this passage, what I really noticed was all the references to the name of God. So it started here like, to make yourself a glorious name, to the Redeemer from of old is your name. They haven't been called by your name. Make your name known. Calls on your name. Yeah, so I just was reflecting on that, because the name of the Lord in the Old Testament would have been Yahweh or Jehovah, but in the New Testament we know that the name of God is Jesus. So yeah, just reflecting on the name. What is the name of God? It's Jesus now. But yeah, it's just interesting through the Old Testament, the promises that we see from God, because of course He knows the end from the beginning. But yeah, it's just really interesting reflection. So now I'm going to get into my prayer time, and I will set that up and get started. What I like to do is I like to do the headings in one color highlighter. I just use highlighter because I love color, but you could just use a pen. I just like colorful things, which is why you can see all these colorful highlighters here. But ideally I like to do all of my headings and my borders in like a darker color, and then my notes in a different color. And I often get carried away and I forget, and I just start praying and writing, and but yeah, so I'm just going to actually try today to do my headings in a contrasting color. So I'm going to get into my prayer time now. I'm not going to talk anymore, and I'll probably put this on fast forward while I'm praying and I'm spending time with God. But yeah, this is my quiet time. Okay, so that is the end of my quiet time today. I spent probably about maybe 15 or 20 minutes just in a time of prayer with God. So some of that was worshiping God and my memory verse, practicing some gratitude for things that God has done. Normally I do write people's actual names in here, but I just thought because I was filming this, it might be better not to write their names, so I've just made little notes. So thank you for joining me in my quiet time. I hope this has been interesting to you. I like watching other people's quiet times. And just remember, it's about progress, not perfection. So just whatever time you have, spend that with God today. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exactly the same every day. You know, like sometimes I sleep in, I hit snooze too many times, and then I'm rushing in the morning. So I'll play the audio Bible on my phone when I'm getting ready in the morning in the kitchen. I'll listen to worship music in the shower. I'll pray in the car on the way to work. So, you know, it doesn't have to look exactly the same every day. Your quiet time doesn't have to look like this. But just spend some time with God. Don't put pressure on yourself to be perfect. God's not asking you to be perfect. He's just asking for your presence and to be present with Him. And it made me think a bit, you know, like if you're dating someone or you've got a husband and you go out on a date and you think you're going to have a 45-minute dinner, but dinner gets served instantly and you're only there for 20 minutes. You know, what matters was you made that time, you spent that time together, and you had your dinner. So it's kind of how I was thinking about it when I was thinking about quiet time. But yeah, so it doesn't matter that you didn't spend 45 minutes. What matters is you spent the 20 minutes. So progress over perfection, and it's about the destination, it's about what direction you're going and what you're prioritizing, and not about being perfect. So yeah, thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in another video.